And so please describe to me what the aesthetic look is exactly.
Well, like this guy here.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and bring
Oh wow, you really have to come in here?
like this guy.
Is this
No,
is this really happening? He met the other guy behind you, bro. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm right into that bad boy.
You can stay right there, behind the camera, behind the camera. No, see now that you got me jealous now.
That's okay.
That's not
no,
fair.
but you're more in the category like Lou Ferrigno, Arnold, okay?
My man. Yeah. Arnold Ferrigno. Huh?
Okay.
Aesthetic. That's great, partner. You two ever go out place everything in its proper place?
That does not make sense, but we usually do go. We head to Kroger's, and we work.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lady waiting for me back home also. She has the most beautiful scrotum. Oh, God. And when she sings, she sounds just like a puppy dog. How do you nail a photo?
Just gotta get in the mode. You gotta talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes.
Talk with your eyes. You
Okay,
gotta
so
have the eyes
can you show me a little bit of something, like to this camera? I would love to know how to do this. I just want to know.
Well,
how
I
do you do it?
mean,
Teach
the
me
smile,
something.
You can get the sexy eyes. Then you know you gotta get the smile going on some shoes. But you know,
Wait, hold up.
you got.
I gotta
when it's
try
time,
this with you.
when it's
Hold
time
on.
to laugh,
I gotta try this
you gotta
with
think
you.
of something
All
funny
right,
and start laughing.
do it again. Do it again. How do you do it? Teach me.
Sexy eyes.
The sexy eye.
This is sexy eyes right here.
Smizing?
Smile.
So you're smizing.
Smile.
Okay.
And then you gotta get the.
No, I look like I need to take a poop or something.
Wish words were like little toy guns. No sting, no hurt, no one, just a bang, bang. Right?
Is that it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Just a bang,
Toy
bang,
guns.
rolling off your tongue.
Toy guns.
It's no smoke, no
Bang, bang.
bullets.
Water guns. All right.
Pascal, you are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Pascal Show. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope you guys are all doing well out there. It is Monday. I don't even feel like I had a weekend, y'all. I'm going to be real. I don't feel like I had a weekend at all, but I am very happy to be here. It is Monday. More and more reasons to be happy today. More and more reasons to get out and kick the day in the balls today. You know what I'm saying? I always say that. Wake up, kick the day in the ass, you know what I mean? Whatever day that is. And go to bed with a smile on your face because you know you beat that ass. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. And that day will always remember your name. You feel me? So if you're feeling what I'm feeling, definitely hit that like button down below. You know what I'm saying? It's Monday! It's Monday, baby. And we back at it again. We got a lot to talk about. We got a whole lot to talk about. Well, you know. I don't want to get into too much about the titles that are going on underneath us because they're fairly big pieces today. One has to do with Trump and the speech that he had yesterday. The speech, the rant, the ramble, whatever you want to call it. We are going to be discussing that here. But then also we got another big piece of a story. Bill Burr had a podcast where he talked about Gina Carano's firing from Star Wars, and he kind of puts in his own 2 cents about it, and it's a fairly juicy piece of steak that we need to definitely look at and break down. It's a little bit of it's a chunk. I'm just gonna be real. It's a chunk because I couldn't find like a highlighted version of the podcast or anything, but I think it's important to hear everything that's going on and just watching his demeanor and his mannerisms, the body language, all that. So we got to take a look at that video for show. But other than that, you know, it was a long weekend because I feel like I was on every single day of this weekend. Real talk, I was. I want to say this too. Speak on it Saturdays, I think are really going to go down from this point on. Real talk. Where I get phone calls from all you guys and we get to chop it up. So this past Saturday was really incredible. Everyone tuned in. Everyone chopped it up. Everyone just showed a lot of love and appreciation. People asked some really great questions. And we just had a really good conversation. I had really great conversations with a lot of people that tuned in. People were pouring their heart out, telling their truths about things and all that. And I feel like nowadays we need to do more of that more often. So like I said, every Saturday around that same time, it's probably going to be very loose what time I come on to do these the Speak On It Saturdays until I find a rhythm that works for me. Because honestly, I do so much stuff during the week. Saturday and Sunday really is like the only days I can really recharge and get my life in order. You know what I'm saying? Like I do have a life outside of this purple ass room. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So just being completely candid with you guys, I love doing it. I loved doing that Saturday so much that I want to do it again every single Saturday. We still will have Speak On It during the week as well. When I take phone calls during the night show, absolutely. But I just want to make sure that you guys know that Saturdays would be the day that literally I'm not going to be pulling up any videos unless you guys are wanting to check out videos and whatnot. But I just want to hear your voice, hear your thoughts about things, and we just have a conversation, you know, and a speak on it, ask Pascal kind of hybrid, if you will. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, just letting you know, starting on Saturdays, but I won't be on for 4 hours. I can't. I'll say that too. Hell no. I can't do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of hours spent in one room, and and I already spent a lot of hours in this room. I'm just gonna be really honest. It's lonely over here. So, just so you guys know. But my boy David is in the house. What's up, man? What's a guan?
Hey man, not much. Had a busy weekend. Just getting the new room for the studio ready.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do some more of that today. I got a bunch of lumber coming in about an hour or so, and then I have.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Finishing the paint back there, and I should have it ready by Thursday.
Wait a second. Did you just say lumber?
Yeah, I got.
Why do you have lumber? What are you putting together?
The bookshelves. That's for the bookshelves.
You're building
the lumber.
You're building a bookshelf?
Like 10 of them, yeah. Or more like 8, I think. I'd have to check my paper again.
Bruh, I'm done with you, man. No, seriously, like what?
It's cheaper than buying them. They're expensive.
Man,
costs like $400 for a good one, but you can make one for like $50 or $60.
See, you need to turn this into a how-to video. That's what you need to do.
Yeah,
real talk.
That's true.
Hey, you know, I'm not lying. You should turn that into something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just saying. Saying. You should
try to
turn
get
that
a
into something.
recording of it. Because I got a lot to build, so I should be pretty good by the end of it.
That's dope, though.
Yeah, thanks.
Hold on, sorry. I'm trying to fix something here. Chris CC, sorry, said something was up with the merch link. So I'm gonna fix this really quick while we're live, and then we'll rock and roll. Okay, so the merch link is fixed, Chris. I don't know why. Every single time I fix it, it'll go back to the resort back to the old thing. And also, Jack changed the entire URL again. So I got to do it all. No, thank you again for doing that, David. I was just about to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway just in case. I don't care. Bang. There it is. It is also, I fixed it in the description box down below, so please go and click on that, Chris. I really do appreciate it. Yes, we got some merch, just so you guys know. You know, just a shameless plug. Thank you to Chris for saying, hey, what's up with your merch link? What's up? I didn't ask her to do that, and actually, I sent her a CashApp and said, hey, can you just act like something's wrong with the link? Said the link is broken. I'm totally lying. It's not the truth, but. Just so you know, the link is fixed in the description box down below. Definitely go and do that. If you don't mind, hit that like button down below. That would really mean a lot. Get them likes up. We got a lot to talk about here. If you did not know, we got to jump into the conversation. If you did not know, Trump had a speech. Yeah. He had a speech yesterday. It was kind of like day that turned into night. Why you say that, Pascal? You ask? It's because the damn thing, the sun was up. I said this during the video too. I said the sun was up when he came onto the stage, and the sun was almost gone, at least in my neck of the woods, when he finally finished talking. He was up there for an hour and a half, just about. Just like a hair shy of an hour and a half. Literally, he was up there for a very long time. You could watch most of Forrest Gump. Seriously, during the entire speech. And it wasn't as, let's just say this. It wasn't as epic, let's just say that, as Forrest Gump. But he did say a whole lot of ish. Including he teased about the possibility of 2024, running in 2024. And then he, of course, just dragged the Biden administration through the dirt. It was quite an interesting thing. David, did you get a chance to see Did you get a chance to see any of the speech, any of the highlights, etc.?
No, I didn't see any of the speech. I just saw a lot of the prep that they were doing, though. I think he did a video on it, but they rolled in his the golden statue of Trump in his boxers. And
I'm done, bro.
I was actually watching it through like a Republican source, I guess, but they're like an anti-Trump Republican video, and they're just like, "Oh, here's the golden calf for that part of the Republicans." It's like, oh, that's kind of true. But
seriously, there was a guy in the chat yesterday, and all love to him and all that. Real talk, all love to him. But he literally said, you know, that he was praising him like he was God. You know, he was praising Trump and he was saying to our God. He literally said that in the and I even commented on it because I was just like, what? Why would you sit there and say? Why would you sit there and praise a false God? You know what I'm saying? Like, the golden Trump thing, the golden calf thing is really creepy, in my personal opinion. It's hilarious. Like, it not only is it hilarious, like, it's funny that it's just a golden Trump, but what's even funnier is that he was business up top and party at the bottom. That, like, literally. And I said it before, he was like the physical embodiment of a freaking mullet. Real talk. He had flip-flops on, an American swim trunks on. You know what I'm saying? He had a magical wand. I don't even know what was going on. But like I said, it's creepy.
I thought his boxers were pretty good.
It's hilarious. But I'm like, why wouldn't I would have had a little bit more respect for him if he was wearing pants. You feel me? And some regular ass shoes. But this guy decided to go, no, well, he lives in Florida now. So he's probably in flip-flops and swim trunks. And then a suit and tie, like a jacket and a button-up shirt, and, you know, like he's ready for business. Just doesn't make any sense. To me, it's stupid. Y'all are stupid.
Yeah, that's how he's been doing all his briefings. Who knows?
Yeah. No just said it's a Tinkerbell Trump. Absolutely.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is believe. You know what I mean? Hilarious. So, wonderful. You know, actually, I should do this because it's only the right thing to do. We got to pull up a little bit. I'm sure there's a little bit of a highlight reel. There's got to be a highlight reel of him. Oh my God! Literally, he did speak for an hour and a half. Bruh. Okay, so there's got to be something out here. Okay, I got a little video. We're gonna take a look at this here because, of course, you know, and I mean, in a really messed up way. And I'm gonna be real. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. You know, I kind of miss the dude. That sounds weird. I know. The only reason why is because it's something that he was something fun. He was somebody to just go at. You know what I'm saying? You kind of miss you're like, damn. You know that, like, you notice, like, Biden comes in and it's kind of just boring, right? And I know that a lot of media is feeling the same way. They're like, dang, okay, so what are we going to talk about? Oh, I guess we could just talk about vaccines and COVID-19 all day long. So it was kind of like, this is nice. We got something to rail in on now. You know, thank you, Trump. You so kind. Thanks for coming back and just talking a lot of ish. But here's a quick highlight of the stuff that you may have missed over that hour and a half of him talking. Hour and 30 minutes. Okay? Of him talking. Oh.
You know I'm totally off script right now. The Green New Deal. Right?
Can I just say this? He was totally off script the entire time. Let me just say that. I even did a theory at the end of the speech. Yes, I sat through the entire thing, as so did all of you, like my lovely, lovely fam. We all got together and we sat down and we were just like, oh my God, we went through this ish for real, for real, for real. But after that, I go, wait, I think I have a theory. I think this is what he does. He has bullets. He has talking points with facts, because there's no way he remembers any of that ish. I'm going to be real. There's no way he remembers any of that ish, okay? And then he looks at that, he looks at his two little, I don't even, teleprompters? Those weird, like mirrorless, I don't know, those pieces of glass that are just on each side of him. You know what I mean? Those teleprompters. It's very crafty with how they make that thing work. But anyway, he'll just sit there, and as you notice, because he always has his body kind of cocked in some weird way. You know what I'm saying? Well, let me do it the other way. There you go. He's always like this. And whenever he sharply looks over to his left, he's reading the teleprompter. But he's only reading the teleprompter for those facts. So he'll go, America is amazing because we have to do this, this, and this, and there's 365,000 million people in the world, billions and billions of people. And he says all these facts, and then he goes back to normal and just riffs. But he'll riff for 20 to 30 minutes every single time. So if we were to condense all the facts into a speech with no riffing, except for maybe like, did you miss me? That kind of stuff. All that stuff that he did. You condense all that, that would have been a 15-minute speech. I guarantee you that. If you took all those pieces, smashed them together, took out all the BS. And take out the election of such and such, because he's not supposed to be talking about that no more. Okay. Smash that all the way up. You'd probably get 10 minutes right there.
Right? Darling, is the wind blowing today? I'd like to watch television.
Oh, yeah, he was...
Russia, please, if you can, get us Hillary Clinton's emails. Please, Russia, please. He asked Russia to go get the email.
This is brilliant. Who took the time to go through 100? Oh, this is brilliant. Oh, my God. Go ahead.
He's doing it perfectly where, like, he'll just throw in, like, one or two facts, and then he'll just start talking afterward as if it's also a fact, and people just kind of follow on with that.
This is freaking brilliant. Do you understand?
Yeah. I mean, that's why Trump got a lot of support, I think, is because, like there were lies about him, so he'd say one truth and then lie a whole bunch afterward, and because he started off with some information you hadn't heard from someone else before, people think it's true. And so it's kind of a way he always seems to do it.
Oh my
pretty
God.
Much.
This dude, this is whoever put this together. I love you.
We're going to look into his finance. I said, where did that come from? He always talked about Russia. The Attorney General says, I'm going to recuse myself. And I said, why the hell didn't he tell me that before I put him in? Russia, 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 Russia. My wife said, you never spoke to anybody from Russia, darling. I said, that's right. President Trump is waiting for the Mueller report. He's bad. He's a bad.
Oh, this is the wrong year. Hold up. This is the totally different wrong year. Oh my God, I feel like an idiot. Ah, that sucks. That was 2019. I'm like, wait a second. I don't remember any of this stuff that he said. I was like, this is not, but that's a small hint of who the hell that guy is. I'm just going to show, okay, hold on. No, see, hour and 30. Jesus. Hamburger. Yeah, that was literally last year. That was last year. Why did that feel like that was this year too? Oh God.
He hasn't really changed his game any.
Okay, so we got another one. This is not a highlight, but I'm assuming it's not a highlight, but we're gonna take a look at this one here. My bad, guys. Damn. The quality is crap, but okay.
Well, thank you very much, and hello, CPAC. Do you miss me yet? Do you miss me?
There we go.
lot of things going on. To so many wonderful friends, conservatives, and fellow citizens in this room and all across our country, I stand before you today to declare that the incredible journey we begun together, we went through a journey like nobody else. There's never been a journey like it. There's never been a journey so successful.
Do you see what he just did? My theory is playing out right now. He starts off the speech looking off into the teleprompter and reading something that's written very, very well for him. He's got a good speechwriter for the most part. But then, as soon as he looks off to the side, he flies off the handle. He starts going into like, this is like never you've ever seen before, nothing you've ever seen before. That's not written in there. He's adding all that crap later. As he's just shooting from the hip. Because he's Trump and he can do whatever the hell he wants. You know what I'm saying?
We began it together 4 years ago, and it is far from being over.
There it is.
We've just started. Our movement of proud, hard-working, and you know what this is? The hardest working people, hard-working American patriots, is just getting started, and in the end, we will win. We will win. We've been doing a lot of winning. As we gather this week, we're in the middle of a historic struggle for America's future, America's culture, and America's institutions, borders, and most cherished principles. Our security, our prosperity, and our very identity as Americans is at stake, like perhaps at no other time. So no matter how much the Washington establishment and the powerful special interests may want to silence us, let there be no doubt we will be victorious and America will be stronger and greater than ever before.
It would be stronger and greater than ever before. And then he riffs. You see what I'm saying?
I can see why he couldn't. Sorry.
No, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I can see why he couldn't tell us apart from the other one, because he's basically saying the same exact things he did a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Somebody, whoever's going to have the time, is going to go through this and find all the stuff. Because from what I remember in this one, it wasn't as crazy. Like his rants weren't as, let's just say, animated as the one we just saw from 2019 by mistake. I'm sorry, guys. But at the same time, y'all, I mean, he's still saying the same crap. I mean, you know, we get the idea. We get the general idea. You know, he's just basically saying the same crap. Ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed, y'all. Same old ish, just a different tan for Trump. So there it is, y'all. I mean, and that's a small piece. That's the very beginning of the entire speech, of his entire the Trump experience from yesterday. One of the things that really did piss me off more than anything, and because I know that David didn't get a chance to really see the whole thing because he was busy doing his thing, so I'm going to say my piece here. One of the things that really pissed me off more than anything is that people sat around and waited for an hour for him to show up and actually speak. That includes us. That includes the entire Pascal show fam. We all sat around and waited for his ass to show the F up. And then when he finally did, it was an hour and a half of, it was birdshot. It was everywhere. It was all over the place. He, like I said, he teased 2024 twice. He teased it to the point where he was like, he basically is saying he's running. You could basically say, consider him there. Consider him already there. Okay? But then he teased that part. Then he went and teased, well, not teased. He still says the election was such and such. Because, you know, I can't really say much here. Because as soon as I say it, the bots, you know, fly through like the trying to take down the Nebuchadnezzar. So that happened. Still to this day, he's saying that stuff. Still. saying it was taken. For the third time, he even said, a third time I will win. For a third time, I will win the election. That's literally what he says. Now, I said this last night after his speech and everything, and I'm sitting there going, well, I was hoping that he was going to take his last term, right, and express what he's learned from his last term and what he plans on doing if he plans on running in 2024. And that is a strong if. That's what I was hoping. That's what I was hoping to hear from him. Because I was hoping that he was going to say, I took this as a teaching lesson. What happened on the 6th, all the things that happened that led up to the 6th. Here are the teaching moments that I received or that I learned from these things. These were all teachable moments. Not once did he do that. He went back to the same old story. He went back to the same old fairy tales that he's putting out there. And the funny thing is that if he does run in 2024, or if he decides not to run in 2024, I feel like what is going to be etched in his tombstone is going to be, this election was such and such. I guarantee you that's going to be his last dying words. It was stolen from me. You know what I mean?
I mean, he's still holding on to that story, even though all the court processes have gone through at this point and all the recounts have gone through. He's still saying that he won the last election. And I guess it's like his argument for why they should vote for him next time. Except, he didn't win the election. So, and, there was an interesting thing about that not too long ago that with the Proud Boys, like pretty much someone was interviewing him, and I think Enrique Tarrio said it himself that like most of the people in the Proud Boys knew that Trump did not win. They just were using that as a talking point to go in there and try to force him to win, basically.
Yep.
So
yeah, it's funny. Actually, you know what? I'm glad that you mentioned that because we should pull up the Enrique Tarrio interview. You've seen it, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that? Could you send me that link? Do you mind sending me that link? Thank you, because that's a piece of information. That's something that's very important because I was going to do a pop-up video about it, but then I was like, I'm a little nervous about those things now. Anything that revolves around the election such and such, I get a little worried about it. I'm just going to be completely straight funky with y'all. Even last night or yesterday, that turned into last night actually, when he was speaking, I got nervous because he was talking about election such and such. And he's still talking about it, and it's never going to end. It's never going to end. I'm serious. It's just, this is the song that doesn't end. It just goes on and on, my friends. Like, it just keeps going and he won't stop it, and it drives me through. It drives me insane. It just drives me insane. So, one of the things that one of the things that really upsets me and really pisses me off is that he has no problem doing stuff like what he's doing up there. And he's not saying, I've changed. I've learned some things. We're going to approach things completely different. He's not doing that. He's just saying the same crap.
Yeah.
Melania. Billions and billions of dollars, billions and billions, like he never seen before. They took this from me. And that's his last, that will literally be his last few words right there before he crosses over to wherever he ends up crossing over to. Probably purgatory. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that literally think he is a god. Holy cow. Sorry, David. What were you going to say? I'm sorry. I don't mean to go rant and get on this crazy thing, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's cool. So Enrique Tarrio, he's also possibly the informant. That hasn't been fully confirmed, but it does look like he is an informant. But he was the leader of the Proud Boys ever since Gavin McInnes stood down, I think. And so he's the one that came out saying, he literally says, I don't believe the election was stolen. And
did you send it to me?
No, I forgot to send it here.
See, man, come on now. You're drinking your coffee. With your French press.
Yeah, it's right here.
Damn it! Is that has that shit kicked in yet or what?
A little bit.
Damn, bruh. Damn, bruh.
I sent it to you on Twitter.
I'm just playing with you, man. You know I love you. Go ahead and say what you need to say, my brother. Sorry.
So Proud Boys are pretty much were being run by this guy, even if he was allegedly an informant. He was part of the people pushing the idea that the election was stolen, even though he said he knows it wasn't, or at least he believes it wasn't stolen. There's another statement from him where he says, "I'll celebrate the moment the government does fear the people. I'm not going to worry about people that their only worry in life is to be reelected." And so I guess he kind of saw it as justified to ignore the fact of who was elected and try to overthrow that to a degree. And he ended up testifying in front of a grand jury about this. And they used Mueller gathered some evidence from that with relation to Trump and Roger Stone from him. So they did at least get some. He did rat out at least a little bit. And the story was that since 2012, he has been a FBI undercover investigator, that they haven't technically verified that, though it most likely seems like it was true. And he said that the purpose of the future of the Proud Boys would include overthrowing the Biden administration and having a new government. And he even said that specifically. He says, "I think now it is the time to go ahead and overthrow the government by becoming the new government and running for office." And that seems like to be one of the ideas that was spreading throughout the Proud Boys, at least those that are directly tied to Enrique Tarrio, is that they generally did not think the election was stolen, and they went there to basically strong-arm people into, stealing the election on the other side.
It's insane. It's insane to think that they were going, okay, this whole thing, and we got to be very careful with what we say from this point on, David, when it comes to election such and such.
Right.
But when it comes, that's why I'm saying such and such, just so y'all know. Is there a video? Oh, I see it now. Sorry. I think this is it. You're talking about the Twitter Anderson Cooper clip?
Yeah, that's where he says most of it.
Okay, thank you. Now, the thing is
I'm not going to...
we're going to look at this video because it's important. I think it's important to see this video. So the thing is and I will answer that, Nolly, here very, very soon. Thank you so much for asking that. Real talk. I really do appreciate that. But with that being said, it's wild to me if these guys, these groups of men really did think that nothing happened. If they truly believe that nothing happened, and then all of a sudden they're going, we are going to strong arm these people, that would be absolutely mind-boggling to me. In my personal opinion, that would be absolutely crazy. That's insane. If that actually did go down, you know what I'm saying? If that actually went down, that would be insane. Let's check out this video here. This is Enrique Tarrio. This is Enrique Tarrio talking about everything. It says here, because my face I know is covering it up. Proud Boys leader speaks about stop this such and such, and the deadly Capitol insurrection. Let's take a look at this video.
I'm not going to cry about a group of people that don't give a crap about their constituents. I'm not going to sympathize with them.
The leader of the Proud Boys is talking about the members of Congress who feared for their lives on January 6th.
Everybody stay down!
As a mob attacked the Capitol.
They shouldn't have reached the Capitol with violence.
He says that now.
No.
But the day after the violent breach, Enrique Tarrio posted this, a picture on social media of members of Congress trying to hide as the attackers began their siege. You write, when the people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears the people, there is liberty. Yes. Doesn't that show that you are celebrating terrorizing people?
I was celebrating, and I'll tell you, I'll celebrate the moment that the government does fear the people. At that point, again, and I didn't have all the information that came in, why they were cowering or anything like that.
Do you wish that you didn't do that now that you know what happened?
No, I don't. Another thing is I'll never regret something that I said.
They are doing the job that the people put them there to do. And if they don't like it, they can vote them out. They are still Americans. They are still human beings who felt that their lives were in danger. How can you not feel any sympathy or any empathy towards someone like that?
I'm not going to worry about people that their only worry in life is to be reelected.
Hold up. First off, I just want to make sure that the quote is abundantly clear, because my face is obviously covering this lower third, but I'm going to tell you. It says, "I'll celebrate the moment that the government does fear the people." What are your thoughts on that, guys? Comment down below. We'll talk about that here shortly. We'll talk about that here shortly.
Got a whole boatload of Proud Boys walking through here, folks.
Tarrio was not there on January 6th. He was arrested in D.C. 2 days before.
How fitting that he was arrested 2 days before this ish. Remember?
Right.
Remember, he is an informant for the FBI. How fitting that the FBI pulls him over. Oh, they found stuff on him, and suddenly he couldn't be there. He couldn't be there. How fitting that moment, those moments happened.
For burning a Black Lives Matter flag stolen from a church and having empty weapons magazines that are illegal in D.C.
You're walking with the Proud Boys to the state capitol.
But a group of Proud Boys was there. The far-right group is known across the country for brawling with members of Antifa, a left-wing anti-fascist movement.
Hit that
they
like
are
button.
also known for throwing their support behind Donald Trump, whose words to them in a September presidential debate exploded their popularity.
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
I think we've doubled in numbers since the debate.
Lucky them, huh?
Has close ties with one of Trump's longest-serving advisors and friends, Roger Stone.
Zoot Suit Riot, hip-hop dancing son of a gun. That son of a gun with his Zoot Suit Riot suits and stuff, hip-hopping all day long in front of a Terminator version of Trump. Roger Stone, yes, sir.
Stone was in D.C. on January 6th as people rallied against the election results that showed Trump lost. Stone did not march to the Capitol and wasn't charged with a crime. Instead, Stone was seen with members of extremist groups like the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys, who have now become a central focus of law enforcement in the Capitol attack investigation. Tarrio had such a close relationship with Roger Stone, he revealed this. You have access to Roger Stone's phone?
For a couple times when I went to go see him, I'd help him with like his social media posts and things like that.
Tarrio's
I'm sorry. He's Roger Stone's personal social media manager. I'm sorry. I think that's funny. Go ahead.
The FBI only wrote him up. I mean, you pretty much said it, but the FBI only wrote him up so that they didn't look like they were causing the riot, even though they kind of did, because, I mean, this is what we've seen more with the CIA does this usually, but they put someone in there to get them to the top, and then once they're in charge, they just have to keep on being the criminal, because that's what the FBI wants them to do to get information, which fundamentally means that the FBI is creating criminals. And, because if Enrique Tarrio didn't exist or didn't have that FBI backing, there's a good chance that like a lot of the Stop the Steal stuff would have never expanded as far as it did in the first place. And you see this with the CIA a lot more, or at least I'm aware of it with the CIA a lot more. They've done it in foreign countries, in our own country. I mean, they were tracking, like during the civil rights movement, they were tracking all of the major black leaders, and they were trying to find ways to place people into those camps to expose them or to pretty much entrap them. And entrapment is technically illegal unless the federal government does it, I guess, because like if a police officer did that, like if they came up and like, I got guns, you want to buy some, that's entrapment, and they wouldn't get away with it. But the FBI seems to be able to get away with that to a larger degree, where they set up these plans. A lot of times they'll find people, and this is the same for the FBI, I just know more about it from the CIA, but they'll find the person, they'll give them contacts to the terrorist group or whatever, and then they'll like, they won't be like, I have weapons for you to buy. They'll just be like, yeah, I know where to get weapons, and then it's the same thing as the entrapment. They just try to play it a little more ambiguous, and because they're on the federal level, it kind of allows it to slip through, I guess, since they don't have the much oversight from civilian government.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue. You kind of nailed all that in one fell swoop. Let's get it. Hit that like button, y'all. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the show. It'd really be appreciated.
Access to that phone landed him in front of a federal grand jury, a detail not revealed until now. At the time, Stone was facing 7 charges in the Russia probe, including lying to Congress and witness tampering. Trump pardoned him after he was convicted on all 7 charges. During his trial, Stone was accused of threatening the judge in the case with a social media post, an image of the judge, and what appeared to be a target behind her head.
I testified in front of the grand jury. But no, there was no, that picture was brought up on a Google search, right? So you used to be able to search, not now, obviously, because there's so much has happened.
Back up. They just settled in what you said. Did you just say you were on a grand jury panel? You did.
I'm sorry. Oh my God. Oh yeah. Got him.
It's too late to take it back now.
No. Well, yeah, that's the story. It's not a secret. Whoops. That's the story that came out that, they wanted to see if who was it that posted it at that point. The actual crosshairs isn't really a crosshair. It's the logo of the organization that wrote the article. So it was just like a graphic. And then that was posted. I have no idea who actually posted it, but I know that I had nothing to do with it.
You know for a fact that if he knew who it was, he would have said something. Because he'd be a snitch.
Stone is one of the architects of the Stop the Steal rallying cry. But Tarrio does not buy into the lie that the election was stolen. He says he just wants more transparency. Do you believe that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from Donald Trump?
Here we go.
No, I don't. I don't believe that the election was stolen.
And yet,
he doesn't believe. Like I know that David already kind of recapped this, but that came out of his own mouth. You heard it from his own freaking mouth. Hey, one more again.
Election was stolen from Donald Trump.
No, I don't. I don't believe that the election was stolen.
And yet, he encouraged his Proud Boys to show up on January 6th in record numbers.
Here's all the Proud Boys, guys.
A group of them did show up. Here they are, marching together towards the Capitol.
That's so
At least 8 Proud Boys Tarrio knows have been charged in the Capitol siege. This is one of them, using a police officer's shield to bust out a window in the Capitol, allowing people to flood in.
I condemn the actions. I don't think that he should have done that. I think it was completely wrong. But the other 7 individuals were trespassing. I think that they got caught up with the entire crowd, and they made a poor decision to go in there.
Members of the Proud Boys didn't appear to just be getting caught up in this. Some of them were leading this attack. You had people removing barriers who were Proud Boys. You had someone threatening an officer, breaking the Capitol window. They weren't just following in this insurrection. It appears that some of them were leading the charge.
Now, those 3 accusations, I do want to touch on those. The breaking of the window, we've already hit. The threatening.
You think that's wrong?
Yeah, definitely. Unequivocally, I think that's wrong. But the threatening of police officers, I didn't see that.
The feds have. They have video of William Cressman yelling, "You shoot and I'll take your f***ing ass out."
As of right now, I can't tell you about Cressman because I can't locate who he's affiliated with. Like, if he's even a Proud Boy.
Cressman's defense attorney said he was just following Trump's orders that day.
And there's more. There's more out there. I feel like that's just, man, now I want to watch the rest of that video because I've only read articles about this ish. Oh, there's more. I found it. Hold up. I gotta pull it up. But here it is. Clearly, he sits there and says, and we're gonna continue looking at the rest of this video because this is fascinating to me. But he sits there and goes, "Oh, I don't believe that the election was such and such. I don't believe that at all. I do not believe that at all." And yet, he still was trying to get his people out there to be a part of it all. Huh? That doesn't make any sense, but let's continue the rest. There's like 4 minutes left. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Please hit that like button down below. That would really mean a lot. And for those of y'all who are new to the show, I do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I also do a Tuesday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time show. So you get me twice in the middle of the week. So please hit that like button down below. Don't forget to crush that subscribe button. Let's get back into this. This is the last half of it, okay?
As of right now, I can't tell you about Cressman.
There we go.
Because I can't locate who
crazy.
He's affiliated with. Like, if he's even a Proud Boy.
Cressman's defense attorney said he was just following Trump's orders that day.
Right where we left
Otario says some of his Proud Boys who did breach the Capitol are unfairly being charged with conspiracy. Did the Proud Boys have a plan to go
into the Capitol?
Into the Capitol.
Absolutely not.
Otario puts some of the blame for what happened on...
Did you hear that? So he says that the Proud Boys had no plans of going into the Capitol. Test results came back, and that says that is a lie.
On January 6th, on police for being unprepared to thwart the mob.
Oh, we're tearing it down.
And he claims some of the Proud Boys simply walked in to record history.
There's nobody that told him, that stopped him from going in. You feel like it's something that's wrong that you shouldn't do?
Yes.
But are you blaming the police for telling people not to break the law?
No, I'm not blaming the cops at all.
So what do you say?
No, I can blame the police officers and the feds for their inability to respond to this. So, was it a mistake to even go into the Capitol?
Was it?
Yes.
Do you condemn those people? Can you say that right now?
Okay, I can't say that. Because I think
Why not?
condemn is a very strong word, and I think it's a little bit too strong.
He thinks the FBI is trying to make an example of the Proud Boys. But Otario also has a history with the FBI after being sentenced to federal prison for fraud in 2012. Were you ever an informant for the FBI?
I was, to put it simply, I was put in a very tough situation where the federal government had wanted me to testify against my brothers.
He said he refused, and instead, his defense attorney said Otario cooperated with the FBI and other law enforcement on many cases, one involving prescription drugs, another a marijuana raid, an illegal gambling bust, and more. But Otario would only admit to cooperating on one case.
The only thing that I actually gave them was the human trafficking ring. And again, I'm not going to apologize for it.
What is next for the Proud Boys and the country? Otario has already made a plan.
I think right now is the time to go ahead and overthrow the government by becoming the new government.
He just said that.
And running for office.
I've never seen this video before. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Hold on. We gotta roll that back just a tiny bit. Did he say? What did he say?
To go ahead and overthrow the government by becoming the new government. And running for office.
You know, here's a thought. Before we finish this, because it's got like a minute and a half. About a minute and a half left. Here's a thought. What if, random, okay? Just roll with me here. Random theory here, okay? But what if this is his idea? What if they were practicing? What if this was a practice run? Just to see what they could get away with on the 6th. Not trying to plant any conspiracy theory seeds in anybody's ears and brains and whatnot, okay? But what if Proud Boys, whatever, Enrique obviously has a lot of power, right? He has a lot of power. So much that he gets those guys, other Proud Boys, out there on the 6th to do whatever they need to do. just to see how much damage they can do as a test run so that they could actually try more in the future. Mind you, I also got to remind you guys, it is the 1st of the month. Wake up, okay? On the 4th of March, there's a huge conspiracy about Ish going down on the 4th. That is only 3 days from now. I just want to point this out. There's a lot of crazy conspiracy theories that are going on right now, but you just heard it from the horse's mouth itself. Mr. Snitch ass Tekashi 6ix9ine wannabe looking ass is out here wearing shades in an interview because he's too cool. His future's so bright he got to wear shades type looking ass. This guy is on here and he literally just said exactly what he just said. He said what he said. This may be a foreshadowing of what's to come. Oh, see, commercials. Gotta love them damn commercials. Hold up, guys. Yes. Feelings.
That symbol of the...
Oh my gosh, Sarah, just stellar reporting, as always, that gives us such a window into this world that we wouldn't otherwise have. So just help us understand that logic. He hates the establishment, I assume, hates the government, but is going to run for office to be in it.
But then you also got to remember, though, too, let's be real. Has anybody seen Manchurian Candidate? Has anybody seen, what's the word? What's the movie? What's the movie? It's the one with Don Cheadle in it. You know, he's American, but then he ends up becoming he becomes a member of Islam, and then he becomes a terrorist. I forgot the name of the movie. Traitor. Traitor. Yeah. Yep, Traitor. So you got Traitor, you got Manchurian Candidate, but without the you know, using like Privyet Comrade, you know, white, silver. You know, and all of a sudden he's like, you know, like Winter Soldier or some ish like that. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to have any code words. He could just be a sleeper in plain sight. Going into the government, like, you know, she just said, like this lady right here to over on the side right here just said they're anti-government, they're anti-establishment, yet, let's get into the government. F the system, but let's get in the system, and then we can muck things up inside the system. Who's to say that there aren't people like this already inside the system already? Like I said, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist show, but I'm just saying, what are the chances? I mean, look, you got people like Marjorie Taylor Greene up in this piece. You got all kinds of craziness going on. I hate to say it like this, but let's be real. You got your Boberts, your Greens, your Hollies, all those people that are all out there, you know, pumping the fist while chaos is going outside of the Capitol, and they're cheering people on. They're talking about Jewish freaking space lasers shooting down and making fire go on and such. Just saying, what are the chances? He just said it right there. There's no way of hiding that conversation right now. There's no way of dodging that. He said it right there, y'all. Right there. He's like, F the establishment, but hey, we're going to come in, we're going to overthrow it, and then I'm going to run. Then I'm going to run for office. And then I'm going to start mucking things up. I'm just saying. Let's see if they say anything else more profound.
That's basically it. You've got it in a nutshell, Allison. He is himself considering a run seriously. He did so, by the way, in 2020, but said that because he was dropped by sort of online companies that take in money for donations, partly because of some of the things that he said, that he was unable to do large fundraising, for example. But he is seriously considering running for office. And it just sort of goes to show you, he has a very, very strong opinion about those who are already serving and wants to replace them. But the wording that he uses is really, it sounds violent, right? Overthrow the government by becoming the government. And once you become the government, you also are really responsible for helping the country grow, not breaking it down. So it would be very, very interesting to see where he goes from here, and interesting to see his platform. But he believes that if he runs, as many politicians would, that he will win.
He'd probably have a really good run for any other person's money. Any other politician, I'm sure a lot of these other politicians would be sweating in their sleep. They would have cold sweats every single night. They'd be waking up every single night going, can this guy possibly win? Can this guy possibly get into office? And I'm going to be real. There's a good possibility he could. There's a very good possibility he could. There's a lot of people, like you remember, we've seen it time and time again, where you see how quickly people will go and support one side as soon as they express their opinions about something. If they truly feel some sort of way, you'll see how quickly they'll go and run towards somebody. I mean, of course, we're going to be talking about Gina Carano in a second here, but perfect example, Gina Carano. She gets on her Twitter. She puts out her tweets. People look into it. She gets canceled, right, by woke media or by the woke left. And then all of a sudden, she has a whole new group of people that are backing her financially, keeping her afloat, etc. All wanting to rock with her because of her speaking out on her own personal opinions on tweets. Same thing on the other side of things too, though. You have other people that are sitting there going, hey, I have, like my father, he was part of the insurrection on the 6th. A lot of people on the left see this and want to do everything they can to help and support that kid. For example, Jackson Reffitt. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars on a GoFundMe account because he's been kicked. He had to leave his home. He's not in contact with his family. He has to survive somehow. So then all of a sudden, everybody bands together in support of said kid or said person because of whatever choices that they made. This is an ongoing thing. So I would not be surprised. And you already heard, he's starting to get money by other people because of where he stands and what he thinks, how he thinks. And through that interview, etc., there's other people who are going to be listening and seeing that video, that interview, and going, I feel what he feels, brother. Proud Boys for life. Where can I donate? Where can I go and support you? We hear it. Proof positive, man. Literally, he said it. My plan is to jump in, get into the government. We're either going to overthrow the government and then get into the government. Either way, we're going to get in here somehow. And we're going to change some things up in her. David, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of mentioned it a little bit before, but this is basically just the problem I've seen the government do all the time, where they pretty much create the problem by trying to investigate it that wouldn't otherwise be there, because they're trying to create these networks for them to get involved in all this stuff. And I mean, this is pretty much the government's fault. It's the same as a lot of the like coups or like sleeper agents we've seen in South America from the CIA. It's just often the people that are doing the investigations cause more of the crime than not, because they're the ones that not going to get arrested. They're the one that doesn't really have to worry about being rolled up permanently. So they're always the ones that take the group the furthest, because that also makes their case stronger and it makes them look better. It's just, I mean, it's not really surprising to me that he's done this or that he did it before. And from what I could tell, it has like kind of destroyed the Proud Boys that he ratted out on them, because now they're super paranoid about anyone else being a rat, because it is a fairly varied group. And it's kind of like some of those other groups where you have like a local grassroots movement, and then you have the main Proud Boys, which doesn't necessarily connect with a lot of the grassroots ones. Though most people have dropped the name, as far as I can tell now, after they've been labeled terrorists by Canada, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, so to me, this is largely the 6th. It just makes it look more and more like it's the government's fault that the 6th happened in the first place, and it is kind of either caused or funded by the FBI and other informants that were in charge of the organization in the first place. If he, for instance, tried to keep Proud Boys away from there and he changed this narrative that they were listening to, he could have possibly prevented that. But he's an informant. He's not there to stop the crime. He's just there to talk about it after he's done it. So yeah, it's a huge problem. It's not. He should face some. He won't, because he's got the immunity, but he should face some sort of criminal charges for the things he's done, and we won't see that, I don't think, because that would require the FBI to be held liable, which is incredibly unlikely to happen under either department, because both the Democrats and the Republicans use the FBI a lot. It's just sometimes they'll target the more politically oriented people that support the other party. Maybe we saw this with the trials about Trump and some of the replacements that came from that. But basically, this is just the government's fault. I think you could argue that the entire 6th was the government's fault. They left the openings. They brought people to start the problems.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones that their informants are the ones that brought weaponry. And supposedly he didn't have ammo, but he still brought all that weaponry, which is encouraging other people to do exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
So regardless of what information he gathered from all these actions, the actions he did himself probably created far more damage, pain, and racism and sectarianism than would have existed otherwise. And this is, the CIA and FBI aren't particularly democratic organizations. They largely hide their information from parts of the government as well as themselves. So it's not really surprising that a bit of backlash comes from this. I mean, this is pretty much what always happens when they try to infiltrate someone into the government or an organization. It usually expands their power, their resources, and their connections. And then the people that actually support it, most of the changes that made them more powerful and more immune to the police, are actually working for the police. So they don't, or FBI, CIA, whatever, so they don't face penalties for what they did, even though they fundamentally were the instigators in these cases. So you could argue that the police and you could very effectively argue that the police and the FBI caused the 6th more than anything else, because the police weren't there doing their jobs, and the FBI was bringing in dangerous elements and brought indirectly through Tario and other informants, I'm sure, brought weaponry to the location, which encourages everyone else to bring weaponry, to bring rifles, because if that's what someone else is doing, whether you agree with them or not, that's your best way to stay alive. If they decide to start shooting people, just avoid the place in the first place. But if you're for some reason feel you need to be there and start something going on, he's encouraging an escalation of violence by everything he's brought and everything he's carrying and everything he's said in the past. So, more and more I learn about the 6th, it seems more and more like it was just the government's fault from bottom to top. Under preparation, intentionally sending officers away, bringing in people with all this weaponry. The FBI, NSA, CIA were all watching Ali Alexander, I think was his name, and they knew he was organizing it, and they still let it go by. So even the parts that weren't informants, that were the investigators, decided to let it go on longer just so they could watch and then see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's definitely some sort of inside job thing going on for sure. If you pull over an FBI informant who actually is one of the heads of Proud Boys, and he happens to end up giving you guys maybe some more intel, especially when they say on the eve. We watched it firsthand here on the show last week, when you start seeing there is in the hearing that there was something on the eve of the 6th, January 5th, they got some more information on possible craziness possibly going down on the 6th, and they did nothing about it. And they admit that they did nothing about it. It makes you wonder, especially when you have somebody who is already dragged inside They have he has magazines on them. Maybe they're empty clips, but they're still magazines that he has. He has information that I'm sure he gave them. That information went out to the people over there before the 6th, and they sat there and did nothing. They did absolutely zero goose egg nothing. They were understaffed, undermanned. A lot of these cops, I don't understand why they didn't use more firepower, but they did not. And it makes you wonder how much of that information that Tarrio was giving them, because he is an FBI informant, let's remember, he is an FBI informant. So you wonder how much information he was giving to the powers that be, to the law enforcement, before the 6th. I'm going to tell you this. I guarantee you he told them a whole bunch of stuff. I guarantee you that there was a whole bunch of information that he gave them. And what did Capitol Hill do? What did the Capitol security do? The Capitol Police do? Nothing. They sat on that information. They did nothing. And then chaos and craziness and people died on the 6th. And then when they saw Ish actually hit the fan, that's when they were going, Mayday, 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 we need backup. And the guys that they were talking to were worried. And we saw this in the Capitol hearing, in the Capitol riots hearing. They said verbatim that they were worried about the optics of it all. The optics. So when it comes to one other side of the spectrum, you know exactly what I mean, okay? The other acronyms out there. On the other side of the spectrum, they don't give a damn. They will stomp their faces to the ground. But then you flip it on the other side. On the flip side, they're worried about the optics of it all. Yet people are getting their ass beaten. These men and women who are trying to protect the Capitol building are overwhelmed with chaos. We've seen the footage firsthand, seeing a body cam footage perspective of a cop trying to protect himself being swarmed like it's World War Z or The Walking Dead. And yet they're worried about the optics of the National Guard coming in and beating their asses. They're worried about the optics, and yet the optics were looking really bad to begin with. It's mind-blowing. So when I say this, the chief of the Metropolitan Police out there literally said this. You guys remember, I was watching this with y'all. We all were holding each other's hands, watching this ish together. And I rolled it back and played it a couple times because I was like, did my ears deceive me, or did I hear him say this? I rolled it back and played it again, and proof positive. They were worried. They were so worried about the optics, then worried about the safety of those men and women that were trying to protect the building and all the elected officials that were inside that building. That's insane. Something's not right here. And we have always said this too, and I said it earlier. There's some sleepers in here. You know what I'm saying? There's some sleepers in there that have worked their way up the ranks. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You got, like, I just saw somebody comment a little bit ago about Q could be in office already. Or supporters of Q, for sure. We already see that, proof positive. We're already seeing that. Something's got to change. Something's got to change. These they keep saying drain the swamp, right? Whatever that swamp may be. I feel like there is a swamp, but it's not the swamp that they're talking about. It's not the swamp that they're talking about. It's other crazy stuff. For sure. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Go ahead.
I agree. And the investigations aren't going to really get us what we need out of this, because they're already so much compromised by the people involved. And it's just like, it seems like legitimately every part of the government involved in it let it happen. Pentagon didn't refused to send National Guard. Pelosi refused to call them in earlier ahead of time. and see that both sergeants of arms did not make sure that the Capitol Police were fully there. They had just enough police at each gate to literally let people in. I mean, they literally let people in and told them where to go and sent them there. And on top of that, the people that came over were already being pushed by apparently government informants, as well as Trump himself, who was he's president at the time, so he's government too. And no one tried to stop this. There's definitely, you could say, I think that there is a conspiracy, but even if not, there was a unintentional collaboration between the groups that allowed all of their bad crap to accumulate into one thing and cause this whole incident. I mean, if the police didn't let people in, that's another incident where maybe this would have stopped the whole thing. If the guard were there or the city police were there, like they should have been, that would have stopped it. If the FBI apparently wasn't having their informants create national groups, because mind you, until a few years ago, Portland was the headquarters and the sole place where Proud Boys existed, and then they spread after that, seemingly after Enrique Tarrio became part of the FBI, as well as pushing the Proud Boys, playing both sides. That's what the government was doing itself. And so it just kind of, there needs to be an investigation from the top down, which isn't going to happen because it probably does include people that are still in charge, such as the committees in the House, I think just in the House, that manages security for the Capitol and everything. And we're probably not going to see the blame get placed on the people that were ultimately in charge. We have seen, you go to about the middle level, like the sergeant of arms in the House and whatever, who answers to the higher up. So, this is not unusual to see the second person in charge get fired instead of the first person who is ideally in charge of the entire thing from the top to the bottom. And so, I mean, just the entire incident was pushed by government forces. I would think, this is just a guess, but like if they had enough officers there and they had the proper barricades, people would have mostly just walked away because they didn't have, a specialist leading them who got kidnapped by not kidnapped, but he joined the FBI at the last minute. So his only ability to stop it in that moment, instead of trying to stop it, they decided to get their informant out so that they don't look bad when everyone gets arrested. And it turns out that one of their informants was actually committing the crime. So they arrest him beforehand. So even though their informant incited and caused and organized a majority of the incident, by pulling them out to the last minute, they can be like, look, they did it on their own. We were just having an informant there. But in reality, they were the main instigator behind the entire event. And by removing him at the last minute, they removed their only chance of telling these people to stand down and back off, further causing this to become more of a problem. So this really is, you could argue, and I think you'd be fairly accurate, that the entire event, intentional or not, was orchestrated by the government and permitted by other parts of the government through either negligence or some sort of collaboration, unintentional or otherwise. And it's quite possible to happen again on the 3rd or 4th, like they were talking about. Though I will say, I've been looking for it, and I haven't seen anyone organizing. That doesn't mean that it's not happening. They are more careful now, it seems, after turning out some of their members are a rat. And a lot of, from what I can tell, smaller Proud Boy groups have fallen apart. So if they're being more careful, that information might not be out there, but I have been watching what they used to organize on, and they seem to be in tatters. They don't seem like they're actually going to be doing anything this week, but they're not the only group involved in the Capitol assault, and they're not the only group that wants to violently change the government. So even if we stop the Proud Boys, they've already proven how successful they can be, and they've set the design and paradigm so that other groups like them know how to organize and will be able to organize in the future because they set precedent and told people how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly trying to do everything they can to cover up things that that happened last month, for sure. Or, sorry, 2 months ago. Wow, it's going to be 2 months here soon because I forgot. It's the first of the month, but it's crazy that there is as much as they have been trying to get down to the nitty gritty of it all and do their due diligence and whatnot, it's interesting how much that we are seeing other people like Ron Johnson, or, you know, as Nancy Pelosi said, Don Johnson, that are seriously doing everything they can to try to flip the script and try to point it towards something else. You have people like Mr. My Pillow, Mike Lindell, that are sitting there saying, "Oh, it was all Antifa," you know, and the other people that were there were drugged, literally, which makes no sense to me at all. But that's where, like, you see people who are sitting there seeing this kind of stuff. You see how interesting it gets flipped around and how people get agitated and angry and how things start to become more confusing because everyone's trying to throw everybody else under the bus. And they're trying to find any excuse under the sun to not take the blame of this, not take the L. They're trying to find as much as they can to blame this on other people, on another party or another group, and say, "Oh, it was the extreme leftists out there," and it's like, no, it wasn't. It was y'all. It was all y'all. As much as you want to say it, it's all y'all. So it's an interesting story. It's interesting to, you know, how this is all like unfolding and how all this is continuing to unfold. But I don't think we're ever going to get the full truth. I don't think we're ever going to get the truth. Ever. Ever. Even so, that interview with Enrique is very safe. He's saying certain things. He's giving out certain information. He definitely said some stuff, and she caught him in some things. She's like, "Wait a second. You're telling me you were a part of the grand jury panel?" Yeah, you just did say that. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't letting anything slide by her. But at the same time, we're not going to get the full. We're not going to get the full truth. And we're just going to have to accept that, unfortunately, until something else happens. Or if something does happen. You never know. I think maybe the 6 was one thing, but then maybe it was a test run just to see how far they can get in and see what cops and security guards and what such and such will be cool with said things. So that the next time they do something like this, it's a little bit more successful and maybe less deadly, or maybe more deadly, but on the other side of things, rather than it being people who are part of the insurrection. You never know. You never know. But we got to jump into the next story here, because, you know, we got only a little bit of time left. So one of the things that I found is Bill Burr is making a lot of waves right now, y'all. Or people are starting to talk about this on the internets. Okay. So Bill Burr was recently on a podcast called the Bill Burt podcast with Joe DeRosa and with Bill Burt. And if you don't know who Bill Burt is, he's, you know, comedian, stand-up comedian, etc. He's done a bunch of stuff. You know, he's all over the place. Really funny guy and all that. You know, if you're into that kind of comedy, let's just say that. But anyway, long story short, Bill Burr was on this show, and the conversation about Gina Carano and her getting fired, or AKA canceled, from Star Wars was brought up. And I wanted you guys to see this because I know some of y'all are you know, movie fans, etc. So I figured this might be a good time for us to take a look at this video and just see how he responds. Because if you do not know, Bill Burr is also a character on The Mandalorian, the show that Gina Carano was recently canceled or fired from. But then also the other part is that there are other people that are possibly going to get fired as well. You got Rosario Dawson, Rosie O'Donnell, Rosario Dawson that could possibly get that is apparently up on the chopping block right now, and could possibly get fired from said show. Now, it's interesting. It's a very interesting situation. I figured it might be a good time for us to take a look and see what he has to say about this whole situation, because there's a lot to unfold. And I know that other people have said in the comments that there is much more going on. Like apparently, real quick, there's other things that are going on in regards to the cancel culture vultures that are out there on the internet. That it's all Catherine Kennedy's mastermind. That she's all a part of this, that she's bringing in those trolls, those people to go in and try to cancel said people because she feels some type of way about Jon Favreau basically taking over the Star Wars franchise or the Star Wars world and all that. And we definitely, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on inside of that world as well. So we got to take a look at this particular interview in this particular segment. I found it interesting. It's a little bit of a long piece, but I think it's important for us to hear what he had to say and how he responds to this whole situation. Let's take a look.
I keep being like, should we have treated that person like Harvey Weinstein or whatever?
They absolutely, Bill, I keep saying, I was saying it the other day about Gina Carano or whatever her name is. It's like, look, you can say that her tweet was stupid or clumsy or whatever, but the reaction to it to me was so crazy that I was like, guys, this is going to be a thing that you look back on. And the example for that is everybody said George W. Bush was the devil. If you in any way supported him or liked him or whatever, you were the devil. There was something wrong with you. You were a racist. You were this, you were that. That fucking guy is on the talk show circuit now. He goes on Kimmel and he kicks back and he gets applause breaks. And everybody goes, he's kind of cute. Remember how dumb he was? Whatever. And they're going to be doing that with half of these canceled people and going, shit, man, sorry about that. Sorry about the last day. It's like a guy in jail for marijuana sales right now in L.A. You know what I mean?
I just saw Pee Wee Herman on the Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Facts. They ruined Pee Wee, dude.
And he was jerking off where you're supposed to jerk off.
He got a point there.
What was he offending those other fucking people jerking off?
Remember that
those local cops saw a big score. That's what they saw.
No, it was one closeted police chief. He's like, these guys are getting away watching gay porn and jerking off. We're not allowed to do this. We're busting them every Friday night.
Dude, I thought he was going to get out of it because he went on the MTV Music Awards right after it and had a great opening line. He came out, he's like, hey, and everybody was going nuts applauding him.
Yeah.
And he was like, heard any good jokes lately? And everybody died laughing. And I was psyched. I'm like, he's back. And then that was it.
Remember Dice? I didn't even like Pee Wee till I knew he jerked off.
Oh, it's like if you're just saying overtly racist shit. Yeah.
Here we go.
Unless you did some truly
Dice. I didn't even like jerked off.
Okay.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
it's
boys.
A weird time. I don't know. I kind of I have unless you did some truly horrible shit. I mean,
if you hurt someone, I don't have time for you. But if we're talking about words, like even bad words, I'm like, come on, man. I mean,
no, I wouldn't say that. No, if you're just saying overtly racist shit, yeah. If you make like a bad comparison,
yeah.
If you come off like Joe trying to find where Atlanta is compared to New York,
yeah,
that's not like, homophobic. That's just ignorant.
What did Carano say?
She said that she goes in 1940s Germany. I'm paraphrasing, but she said in 1940s
Which is always
Germany,
a good thing to do on something like this, Joe. By all means, let's hear your take on the tweet.
I don't have the quote in front of me, but she said she basically compared political beliefs now being persecuted to the fact that in 1940s Germany, the way the Nazis were so able to take power, and do whatever they wanted was because they brainwashed citizens into picking on their Jewish neighbors and eventually attacking their Jewish neighbors. And she said, how is that any different from attacking people for their political beliefs? I get what she was trying to say.
It was a bad
Obviously,
comparison.
any comparison to anything with the Holocaust is it's a shoddy comparison. You're going to piss people off. It's a dumb thing to do. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. But here's
idiotic.
what bothered me. The grounds for her being fired based on that opinion was that she was somehow reducing the plight of Jewish people during World War II. Okay, I get that. I understand that perspective. However, how is it any different from all the people on the left when Trump got nominated or elected and they said he's like Hitler? How is that any different? That's the same reduction of circumstance. But on one side of that coin, it's okay to say, and on the other, it won't even be entertained.
Joe
for a
DeRosa.
second.
So you notice he said Joe DeRosa because he's like, whoa, with the observation, with the comparison, he obviously is impressed, and I have a feeling he kind of agrees with what he's saying right now, a little bit. I also, before we continue this too, I want to point out that he almost got canceled. He almost got canceled last year. I don't know if you remember his SNL stand-up, his cold open for SNL, but his opening monologue. But he did say a whole lot of stuff that really pissed off a lot of white women, and he literally almost got canceled for saying certain jokes on SNL. He obviously is doing fine, but he almost got canceled.
Interesting, Joe.
That's an interest. Joe DeRosa with an interesting take. Look at you.
Hey,
I was
well,
judging you with your bedspreads there, and all of a sudden Joe comes in.
Bill, I've had a lot of time to think, you know.
For what you're saying, Joe, is she should have compared it to slavery, and it would have been better.
I just don't. All I'm saying is, whether you agree, disagree, whatever, I just don't get this place that we're in where there's no room for discussion about anything. And
I
even
think because there's too many channels, Joe. Too
It's
many
just
channels,
wild,
and then you gotta like do sensational shit. I don't know what the fuck it is. I mean, I'm on that fucking show. Now I gotta watch what the fuck I say.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, no kidding. He really does have to watch every single word that he has to say right now, because here it is. You had somebody who came on, did his thing. Like, you had somebody who went to Twitter, put out a tweet, which was stupid. It was a terrible tweet. But she got instantly, well, I mean, it was not instant, but they were going after her for a while. This dude, I mean, he has to watch every single thing that he says, because if he says anything wrong, if he says anything that sparks something that is a tiny bit controversial, the cancel trolls are going to come through. The cancel camp is going to come in and try to annihilate his ass. Real talk.
Yeah, I'm a fan of that show. Everybody.
What show is she on? What show is she on?
The Mandalorian.
The Star Wars, yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But they canceled her action figure. That's how deep cancel culture is. They canceled her action figure. It's like, let the action figure come out. I don't understand.
Did she ever pony up to you, Bill? I'm like, Bill, I got a few ideas I think that you'll like.
No, she was an absolute sweetheart.
Yeah.
Super nice fucking person, and whatever. And somehow someone will take this video and they'll fucking make me say something else and try to get rid of my bald action figure.
Wait, you have an action figure?
That's true.
Yeah, do you have an action figure?
No. No, you fucking nerds.
Oh, if you get one, dude, I'm buying it. I'm buying
I might.
it.
I don't know. I have no idea.
That season was awesome, man. That second season was killer. Holy shit.
They should do a flashlight for you.
Huh?
Nothing.
He needs to shut
honestly,
the hell up.
I can't, how it is out there. It's fucking crazy time. They there's just people just waiting, just laying in the weeds.
It really is, man.
Do you think there is a group of people, like a type of person out there reading the trades and then going, Joe DeRosa signs a 6-figure deal. All right, let's deep dig him, find out what he did wrong, and that's how I spend my day.
Let's show that he's human and he's made a mistake in his past, and let's take that dream away. I don't know how it works.
Absolutely. There are people doing that. Bert, I think it's even farther than that. I think there are people that are watching who's about to break, and just like they preemptively buy .com names, right? So they can sell them back to the famous person because they know, oh, they're going to buy this probably and need it, and then I can make a couple bucks. I guarantee you there's people lying in wait like that and just saying, this guy's star's starting to rise a little bit, you know? Let me just dig a few things up.
That's an interesting theory, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that. Think about being in a world where everything that you do, everything that you possibly have done in your past, if you're an entertainer or anything of that, content creator, etc., anything that you've done can be held accountable for you 20 years down the line. Say that you make some stupid, ignorant joke, you know, in a past thing 20 years ago. That is a fear that you're suddenly going to get canceled, or you're suddenly going to lose your job, or not be able to continue to secure them bags, because there are people out there, like Bill Burr said, that are just in the weeds, just waiting for you to F up. Just waiting.
It's got to be. I mean, the shit comes out so fucking fast. It's crazy.
It is kind of crazy. I think it really speaks for having, like, flying under the radar and just making a living and just going, like, I don't need to be Will Ferrell. I can just be this guy. Either that or put all your shit out there so bad that you're like, yeah, I'm an alcoholic, and everyone's like, all right, he's going to kill himself. We'll let him do his thing.
Yeah.
How about you just be an individual and you continue to buy tickets to people that you want to go see?
Facts.
Yeah.
And just sort of fucking, because that's one of the things that's weird to me is a few people that have, like, they go back out on tour, and then, like, you know, they're going to sell out and people want to go see him, and then the people who don't want to see him don't even want to let the people that still want to see him or her see him. Then it just becomes like, I'm sitting there, it's a, my thing about that is how do you hold up you judging somebody that harshly about, because I'm not talking about like the hardcore shit, like sexual assault and rape and stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about, because now it's becoming like, hey, you made an ignorant comparison. There goes your dream, right?
Right.
I'm like, I look at that, it's like, who the fuck stands up to that?
I mean, dude,
it's a good question.
It's a great question, and the brutal part of it is,
Joe, every once in a while you send a compliment my way. I appreciate it.
Bill, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you. Big fan, Joe. I'm a big fan of you.
No, but I mean, it's the problem. The problem isn't the first part of that. The problem is it's not just go buy tickets who you want to go see. Of course, obviously, the problem is they go into the Yelp reviews of the venues, and they try to get the venues shut down.
Can we just talk about something else? Who gives a fuck, Joe? Let's talk about taste buds. Jesus Christ, we're sitting here talking about Britney Spears and fucking Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake shit from 20 years ago. All right.
Yeah, I mean, you know, so there it is, y'all. I mean, he definitely has a point there.
It's Thompson Cigar.
I mean, he definitely has a point there in regards to, like, hey, you know, what about those people that do get canceled? You know, that end up doing something, like they say something that they shouldn't have said, something like that. Not the harsh stuff, but the other stuff. You know, like where can you go? Say if you're a fan of that said person, and you want to continue supporting them, where can you go and support that person? There's one thing about people who are doing really bad things out there, and they should definitely be canceled, fired, etc., just pushed off into a corner of the world and never be seen again. But then there's the other people that do say something that's just really ignorant and stupid, that maybe should get like what the equivalent would be is a slap on the wrist, if you will, but maybe not get completely annihilated so that they can't even have a career or anything of that sort. But it's like thinking about this: the people who would just have said something stupid or you know, did something really stupid back in the day that did not bring any violence or anything of that sort, or sexual assault or anything like that, where can you go and still see those people? If you are just still a fan, like, hey, man, you made a mistake. I forgive you. Let's move on type of situation. I still want to support you. Where can you go? Where can you go to see said person? You know what I mean? To go support said person. You know what I'm saying? You know, when it comes to Gina Carano, I mean, I've never been a fan of hers, nor will I ever be a fan of her stuff. But, you know, just in regards to her saying something that was just really stupid, wasn't racist or anything of that sort, in my personal opinion, she shouldn't be canceled for saying what she said. You know, there is that level of freedom of speech, right? She can say what she wants to say, as long as it's within, in my personal opinion, as long as it's within the confines of, you know, staying within the certain confines of certain things. You know, you don't cross the line on certain things. You know, you try to say what you need to say in the best way possible. And yes, ignorant ass ish is going to come out. I mean, that just goes without saying. Ignorant ass ish is going to come out of people, because people like to feel like they have every right to say what they're saying. You know, they love to have that platform and that echo chamber in which they can say what they need, what they want to say and everything. But there is that thing of just somebody who is just trying to live their life, but there are people out there that are just trying to take them down. You know what I'm saying? Now, from my understanding, that's what's basically going on with Gina Carano, Rosario Dawson. I mean, I don't know anything about Bill Burr. I mean, he just basically was just saying like, hey, why can't we just live our lives and be able to do what we do, be entertainers, make mistakes, be human, and keep it moving. And I agree with that. I do agree with that. At some certain point, we have to realize that we are at the base of it all, that we are human and we will make mistakes. We're not going to be perfect all the time. But at the same time, there were people, as the story starts to unfold, there are people that have been going out of their way trying to get this woman destroyed. Just trying their damnedest to get her annihilated. And they worked. And it worked, I'm sorry. And it worked. They got exactly what they wanted. They waited for the perfect time, for the third or fourth time. I don't know how many times she said something that they were like, cancel, cancel, cancel. And then when she finally said the thing about Nazi Germany, you know what I'm saying? Boom, they finally got what they wanted. But now I understand that they're trying to do the same thing to Rosario Dawson. They're trying to do the same thing to Rosario Dawson, which makes no sense. I'm like, what does she do? What did she do? The Mandalorian will never have another season ever if it keeps going in the route, in the way it's going right now. So please comment down below. Let me know what you think on that, because to me, this is just a wild story. And it's just so strange that this is how all this is unfolding, how this is being accepted, how this is fair, like how this is even being seen as quote unquote fair is beyond me. It's not right. I personally don't think it's right at all. Not at all. But I do appreciate Bill Burr stepping up and saying, yo, man, this is stupid. And what's crazy is that he's scared to even talk about it. Didn't you see that? He's scared. And I don't blame him. If he wants to continue having a job, he has to worry about whatever he says next. Like, now we are in that world. And I worry about that for any person that uses a microphone and talks. Any comedian that's out there, for him. I worry. I worry about like him doing stand-up and him being able to keep continuing to make jokes about whatever it may be. How much of that is going to come back and bite him in the ass? Forever. It's only a matter of time. If it keeps going the way it's going right now, the way the trend is going, he will be canceled in no time. In no time. For just maybe saying a really funny joke in the past. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. By the way, guys, please go hit that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to see you get up to 100 likes. I'd really, really appreciate it. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. I do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'd really appreciate it. But there was another video I wanted to show you guys of Chadwick Boseman was awarded last night at the Golden Globes, and his wife got a chance to speak on his behalf because, of course, he is no longer here with us. And I wanted to show you guys that particular video. Let's take a look.
He would thank God. He would thank his parents. He would thank his ancestors for their guidance and their sacrifices. He would thank his incredible team, Michael Green, Azim Chiba, Nikki Fioravante, Evelyn O'Neill, Chris Huvane, Logan Coles. He would thank his team on set for this film. Deirdre Dixon, Sean Richards, Craig Anthony, and Andrew Carlone. He would say something beautiful, something inspiring, something that would amplify that little voice inside of all of us that tells you you can, that tells you to keep going, that calls you back to what you are meant to be doing at this moment in history. He would thank Mr. George C. Wolfe, Mr. Denzel Washington, lots of people at Netflix. He would thank Ms. Viola Davis, Mr. Glenn Turman, Mr. Michael Potts, Mr. Coleman Domingo, Ms. Taylor Page, Mr. Dusan Brown. And I don't have his words, but we have to take all the moments to celebrate those we love. So thank you, HFPA, for this opportunity to do exactly that. And hun, you keep them coming. Thank you.
You know, what's amazing about Chadwick Boseman's life is that, shout out to his wife, Taylor Ledward, for coming in and accepting that his award and speaking on behalf of him and everything. And there's a lot of us that still feel some type of way about him not being here anymore. But what he did in his life, like the short amount of time that he was here on this planet, it would have taken it would have taken so much longer of a lifetime for the amount of stuff that he did in his lifetime. It's mind-blowing what he's done. The things that he's done, the things that he was a part of. I mean, he definitely was on this planet for a reason, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. And, like I said, if you're not a fan of Chadwick Boseman, then I don't know what to tell you. But this was a very incredibly talented human being, and he did some really great stuff. Real talk. He did some really, really great stuff. And it sucks that he's not here anymore. But what he left behind is a legacy that we will never forget. We will never forget. Like I said, he was only here with us for a little bit of time, but damn was he good while he was with us, It's pretty damn amazing. And now for a palate cleanser, shall we?
Oh yeah, oh no, we can't go it like that. Trump 2021, yeah, he running it back. I just got a call from General Flynn, he told me that's facts. Democrats, go and tell me how you feel about that.
Hey,
Who won Trump won? Who won Trump won? Watermark batters 45, the chosen one. You know
I'm
the
done.
fans did it sweet, they was knocking at the front door. Patriots pulling up, knocking on the...
Okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm done. I just had to put that in there. That, I mean, you can't not unsee that. You know what I'm saying? You can't not unsee that. I'm right. You know that I am right. Holy God. Oh my gosh. Jesus. Anyway. Oh boy, oh boy. So if you guys haven't done it yet, please hit that like button. That would really mean a lot. Hit that like button. Hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Let's get that all those likes all the way up. I'd love to see it get past 100 before the end of the show. I'd really appreciate it. I'm about to be wrapping up here very, very shortly. But there was something else that I wanted to point out or talk about before I take off. This is a very strange one. I just got to pull up this article really quick because I find this a little weird. You know, speaking of the cancel culture, speaking of the cancel world, you see right there. Dr. Seuss is canceled. Virginia school system drops children's favorite from Read Across America Read Across America Day because of racial undertones in his writing. There it is, y'all. Even now, Dr. Seuss is getting canceled. Who would have thunk it? Green eggs and ham, Sam I Am, all that stuff. He is literally getting canceled. So, a Virginia school system has dropped Dr. Seuss from an annual event that encouraged reading as district leaders accused the beloved author's books having strong racial undertones. So, the Loudoun County schools will shift the emphasis, quote unquote emphasis, of the annual Read Across America Day on March 2nd away from Dr. Seuss and towards books more inclusive and diverse, more inclusive and diverse and reflective of our student community, a spokesperson said. Seuss, whose real name is Theodore Geisel, had been the face of the annual Read Across America Day for more than 20 years. A report has accused his children's stories of featuring Orientalism, anti-blackness, and white supremacy. That is a new one for me. So, Loudoun School spokesperson Wade Baird, said recent research had revealed strong racial undertones in many books written, illustrated by Dr. Seuss, the Washington Post reported. Given this research, the LCPS focus on equity and culturally responsive instruction, LCPS has provided guidance to schools in the past couple of years to not connect Read Across America Day with Dr. Seuss's birthday exclusively. Interesting. So they also insisted that the books had not been banned outright, and that the students could still access Seuss in the district libraries and classrooms, but that the March 2nd event would not simply celebrate Dr. Seuss. So his comments come following in a 2019 report called "The Cat is Out of the Bag: Orientalism, Anti-Blackness, and White Supremacy in Dr. Seuss's children's books." This is what the man looks like, just in case you were wondering what he looks like. Very, very interesting. So, Cat in the Hat, you know what I'm saying? Green eggs and ham, Sam I Am. So that report states that white supremacy is seen through the centering of whiteness and white characters who comprise 98%, that's 2,195 characters of all characters. Notably, every character of color is male. Males of color, Notably, every character of color is male. Males of color are only presented in subservient and dehumanized roles. This also remains true in their relation to white characters. Most startling is the complete invisibility and absence of women and girls of color across Seuss's entire children's book collection. In addition, some of Dr. Seuss's most iconic books feature animal and non-human characters that transmit Orientalism, anti-black, and white supremacist messaging through allegories and symbolism. Really? That is new to me. This is very weird to me. Very, very weird. Now, so imagine being in a world where you don't, I mean, you are Dr. Seuss. Let's see. I wonder when he wrote the first, like one of his first books. I wonder when he wrote one of his first books. Let's see. Let's see. So what I see here is Dr. Seuss. Okay, Horton Hears a Who is 1954. The Cat in the Hat is 1957. Grinch Stole Christmas, 57. Green Eggs and Ham, 1960. One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish, 1960. Okay, so during this time, when he made these books, I mean, he wrote these books in a totally different time. A totally different time. So, Dr. Seuss is now getting canceled. Fascinating. I mean, to me, I feel like, you know, when you look at like movies that are made in those times, like when you look at something like Gone with the Wind or TV shows that were created, like, you know, like we talked about this last week, I think, or the week before that, with Disney putting out disclaimers before they played the episodes of the Muppet Show and all that. You see all these things that are going on, but it's like during those times, it was a different time. They were writing those books, like Dr. Seuss was writing those books in a different time. He wasn't writing the books in 2021, right? So should he be quote unquote canceled or taken off of like a reading list or something like that? Maybe there's something that you could do before. Maybe you could do that before that. Like maybe put a thing, or maybe there's a discussion or something of that sort. You see what I'm saying? If it's something that is going to be put into a very racist and rude angle. Does that make sense? I mean, this is what I think. You know, you got something that is written during a different time. So maybe this is something that is talked about, or maybe it's brought up. Because you got to remember, there's Disney cartoons back in the day that are very racist. And they still play those videos all the time. You know? I don't know. I mean, the question goes out to you guys. Should something like this be, quote unquote, canceled? Should Dr. Seuss be taken off of a reading itinerary? You know what I mean? A reading list for kids. Inquiring minds would like to know. I just saw somebody say something. Well, Siri said, well, that's the point, Pascal. He probably would rewrite them today if he could. And I do think so, too. I think that he would do everything he can to change those things and go, okay, let me, or whoever has the rights to these books, maybe you rewrite it. Not rewrite the entire thing, but I mean, you know, maybe change out certain characters or revamp those characters so that those characters are not as quote unquote offensive now as, you know, because obviously they weren't. Maybe they were offensive back then. I don't know what they were, because I don't have a Cat in the Hat book in front of me or a Fox and Socks book in front of me to take a look at this kind of thing. But you know, it just makes me wonder, like, should he be canceled or no? You know what I mean? Definitely let me know. I'm probably going to be turning this into a pop-up video here shortly, because it is definitely something that is interesting. I want to look into it a little bit more because it just doesn't make any sense to me that 1 minute he's this and then next minute, like, he's a highly appreciated and highly respected children's book author, and now he's getting wiped out because of what he wrote way back in the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just what I think. You know, there's a lot of books that they still read in school that have very offensive things towards any person of color that people are still reading in school. So you're telling me that Huckleberry Finn should be canceled. Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn should be completely cut out because of Jim and how he says N-word Jim in there. It's just very interesting. But like I said, I'm probably going to turn this into a pop-up video because I think we need to talk about that for sure. You know what I mean? It's definitely it'll definitely be an ongoing conversation here for show. But yeah, it just seems a little weird. It's here and then it's not here. It's okay and it's not okay. So I'm probably going to be talking about that here too. And To Kill a Mockingbird. You know what I'm saying? And yes, Tyrannus, you're absolutely right. That is the point of the book. You know, that's, of course, understandable. But then when you look at other things, then you see what I'm saying? It's very interesting. So I'm definitely going to probably turn this into a pop-up video so we can actually, like, have a discussion about it. Because it's an interesting conversation to have, you know? But anyway, that's the video, guys. I really do appreciate all you guys. What a morning. What a morning. A lot went on, a lot of things to discuss. You know, that Bill Burr thing was very interesting and all that. You know how it is. Just crazy. Just absolutely crazy. But I appreciate all you guys for being on. Thank you to David. He had to leave. He couldn't stick around because he had some things to do. He's going to be building bookshelves, for crying out loud. But he got things to do right now. But stick around. You know, I will be doing some pop-up videos a little bit later on today. I probably will be talking about this Dr. Seuss thing a little bit in more depth here in a second. And so, yeah, guys, I do appreciate everybody who hit the like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like I say all the time, it'll be great to have you a part of the Pascal Show family. And it's time to get going. Okay, guys? Hold on one second. Make sure I have all this stuff up and ready to go. So, anyway, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably in the next pop-up. All right? Be good, y'all. I'll see you soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.
Love, peace, and wellness for the holidays. Don't cancel them. Prepare, STL. Decorate. Make it as normal as you can, but slow the spread of COVID. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Watch your distance. Prepare, STL, helping St. Louisans of color prepare and prevail.
But you see how he makes these S's in his body right here? That's where he's hanging on, and then he's moving forward with the locomotion of his ribs. That is classic Missouri rat snake right there. I mean, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab him before he gets into a hole. Now, these snakes are not biters. They won't bite as long as you don't squeeze them. If you just stop them like this, it'll freeze them, and then you just gently pull them back. As long as you don't squeeze them, they won't bite.
Yo, Mike, what's up, man?
Guy? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so Sugar Fire.
Yeah.
Fully open, right?
Yeah, we're pretty much open. You can't sit inside yet. Monday you can sit inside a little bit. We'll have 25% of the tables inside, and then we're letting it rip outside.
So I know that there's a lot of people really concerned about staying safe and all of that.
No,
so what are you guys doing in regards to that?
Well, we have extra people to clean and rub everything down all the time. Everybody inside's wearing masks. And we have those little stickers on the ground so everyone can stay 6 feet apart.
Right on.
The tables are all spaced out, inside and outside.
Sugar Fire, open in full effect right now. They're staying healthy, they're staying clean. Go get you a rack of ribs. Sugar Fire, open right now.
Thanks.
The Fur and Leather Center, providing the highest of fur and leather goods.